Yeah.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming out today's workshop, the Money and Finance workshop in the Learn the Field series. So let's go forward. Just a little introduction for the host. The original host, Alex Caceros, unfortunately couldn't make it today. He's doing job training. But just a few details about himself. He's a kinesiology major, second year, and he's currently serving as our development and education chair here at Long Beach. A few fun facts: he has his own checking account. Pineapples are the superior fruit, which they are, honestly, and he enjoys crossing people up on the basketball court. And just a little bit about me. My name is Nathan Cortez. I'm a poli sci major, third year, and I'm currently serving as the Kiwanis Family Chair here at Long Beach. Unlike Alex, I don't have my own checking account yet. More on that later. Um, Personal opinion: pineapple does belong on pizza. If you don't agree, I will fight you. And I enjoy doing genealogical research. So just getting into it, just a little bit about today's webinar. Today we'll be showing you just how to properly save and finance your money for the real world. Just give you some tips on how to be successful at that, and yeah. So just like a little activity icebreaker for everybody. If you want, you can take a piece of paper or a pen, and then I guess we can just go around. You don't have to tell us how much you make, what your income is, um, but kind of give us a general idea of how your expenses look. Do you make or do you spend more than you make? Just stuff like that. So I guess we'll go around. I'll go first. So about about me not having a checking account, that has to do with me still being a dependent. So I do not have income yet. Um, if I were to list any expenses, it's more of like personal stuff, like maybe club dues that I have to pay, or I guess I would say my school expenses, though that is taken care of. Um, so yeah, that's how it looks like for me. I guess we can go around the room here. We can start with McKenna, if you'd like to go first.
Sure. Um, right now, I make like $100 a week. That's now going to change in the summer to around 700 a week because I have a job starting June 8th. And what do my expenses look like? Um, I pay the internet bill for my family, and I buy food for Kyla. For the one person here who doesn't know who that is my girlfriend. And sometimes when I'm feeling spicy, I will budget some to my games. Yes. And I shall now. But I always make sure that I always have enough to cover my bill and also pay for gas if I need to help. And I will popcorn it to Andy.
Well, hmm. Um, Pre-COVID, um, worked full time. I indeed made more than I spent. Um, and with the money saved, allocated that into my business, and then later, company downsized. I would I would break even. So I don't make much, nor did I spend much eating while eating lots of ramen. Now, post-COVID, I'm definitely not spending anything, neither am I earning anything. So I'm at net zero on my wage and expenses. Popcorn to Alan.
Yes. I work at a boba shop, and I think I get paid around 400 every 2 weeks, and 100 goes into savings, 300 goes into the rest goes into checking, and my expenses are around 150 to 200 every month. Usually it's like 50, or usually it's like $50 worth of gas, and then the rest is food. Occasionally, some clothes. Yeah. I'll popcorn it off to, let's see here, Taylor.
Um, so I drive for DoorDash, so the money I make like varies a lot depending on like how much I want to work. I'd say on average I make probably like anywhere between like 50 and like 150 a week, but that'll probably go up in the summer because I have more time. In terms of expenses, I mean my biggest expense is like school, tuition, textbooks, all that, and just other personal stuff like food, but it's not a lot. Who hasn't gone yet? Audrey, your turn.
Yes. All right, so I misread this question. I thought it's like, how much did you spend this week? Which is a very terrible question for me. Now maybe McKenna will remember what I spent it on. Anyways, in an average week, I make $0, 0 cents, zero, period. In an average month, I feel like maybe I can make around like 100 to 150. I sell stuff online. I sell game stuff specifically online, and maybe like sometimes art. But it's like not something that is like always paid on a weekly or even like a monthly basis. It kind of just depends on like how much interest I get, and how active I am on forums. Terms of expenses, I'd say roughly like 200 a month if I'm spending it on like maybe like food with my family, or um maybe some like other expenses like miscellaneous like clothes, or I don't know, new pair of headphones because mine are always bad. Um yeah, I don't generally spend too much. Like even 200 is like a very generous amount because I'm living with my mom. During COVID, I don't generally like spend a lot of money. Pre-COVID though, honestly, I have no idea, which is very scary. Um so this is definitely something I have to find out. Well, popcorn to rent.
Excuse me?
You responded to it.
Excuse me? Anyway, yeah, okay. As far as how much you make or get a week, uh I get a pretty comfortable amount. I think usually if as far as like weekly expenses go, it pretty much varies. So like depending on what kind of like what month it is, like if it's like like November or like December, then usually like I spend like a lot more of like my income just on on just gifts and Christmas stuff, and just the different like the holiday gifts for special occasions and whatnot. But if it's say like a regular week, then it's probably just like small things like groceries, um and like I'd say just stuff on like maybe some things on Amazon, depending on like what I want to get, whether it's just like just yeah, there's just different things like that. Um yeah, because honestly, yeah, a lot of it goes to groceries and food. um I usually don't try not to spend more than like 30% of like my income. And yeah, and then usually 15% of it's usually on just goes to credit. Trying to think what else. I don't. I think that's mainly it. Yeah, I guess that's mainly what most of my budget goes to. Um, oh, sometimes card maintenance if like things come up, but that's just like every like couple of like months, just because of like yeah, just because oil changes and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and popcorn then to maybe popcorn to koi.
What's up? It's me,
Hey.
Coin.
Oh.
That's not me.
Okay.
Anyway, hey, sorry about that. I was making rice for my family real quick. But a week, I don't work right now, so I don't make anything in a week. But over like a whole year, I do have some income, whether it's like selling like some old things or like a small gig I do for like a month. So I would say if it's average, probably 50. Yeah, 50 a week, maybe 40. And I would say definitely I spend more than I make, because usually what I do is I work during the summer and I build a lot of income so that I don't work for the rest of the year. But last summer I didn't work. And yeah, so this year I'm kind of negative, but it's all right. I'm gonna work soon again. And I guess popcorn, Matt.
Okay. Every month I make from 200 to 400 from my research program, but this summer it ends, so that's gonna end. And my expenses are pretty much just from food, which is probably like 100 or 200 a month.
All right. Thank you everybody for participating. So moving on, everything we just went over is actually, if you didn't know, it's an essential part of budgeting. Just knowing how much you make, how much you set aside for your expenses, just keeping track, keeping track of the drip. um, it's very important that you keep track, that you budget. It allows you to manage your money to last a long time, so you can save effectively. And there are different ways that you can budget, or different tools that you can utilize. So, how do you budget? Well, there's no single answer. There are so many different ways, like I said, that you can do it. You can make use of, say, budget templates or spreadsheets, which I personally utilize. There are also apps like Intuit Mint. Does things automatically for you. You put in your income, your expenses, and it notifies you if you, say, overspend on something. Like I said, Google or Excel spreadsheets, etc. And here's just a few examples of what that might look like. On the left is the Intuit Mint app, and then, of course, Excel spreadsheet. It can even look like this. Like I said, you can be very creative. Add little graphs to it if you want, maybe little pictures. There's no wrong or right way to do it. So you definitely have a lot of options in that regard. So looking here, we have two examples. This is fictional. This is not this is not accurate representation of what our accounts look like at the moment. But I want you to look at these two examples and determine, based on what's listed here, who does the better budgeting. And I did not write. Alex made this, so. So I guess if anyone wants to say in chat or speak up on the mic who you think budget's better. Yeah, Alan, I don't have a checking account yet. I wish I had that much money though. Go ahead, Alan.
It looks like Nathan is doing a better job at budgeting. He is limiting his recreational and fun purchases to 30%, whereas Alex seems to be buying a lot of shoes, jewelry, Gibby posters, and V-Bucks.
I mean, if you're Lenore, you would consider Gibby posters a good investment, but you know,
That
that's,
is
that's just her.
True.
So would everyone, I guess do we have a consensus on who budgets better? Unless you want to make an argument for the other account.
I'll make an argument for the other account. Like, so your argument is that Nathan's is the better person, that the better one, that the one with the better budget. Where I'm gonna argue for Alex, who probably has a better budgeting. So you're saying that when we look at Nathan's checking account, it is at $50,000. As we look at Alex's checking account, it's at negative. Sure, it's at negative, but that does not take into account of the cash on hand. And when we look at 80% of his spending on shoes, jewelry, Gibby posters, and V-Bucks, we do not know the full story of Alex. Maybe Alex is a scalper, going to thrift stores, purchasing everything that he wants at a very low cost, and then selling it at a higher price, making more money, but it's cash on hand, and that's not being taken account of. So Alex may have, a lot of money, but it's just not being put into his account. So I guess the argument I'd say is Alex may be the better budgeter in regards of hustling. But he does need to allocate portion of his cash into savings, stocks, and investments like Nathan's.
Thanks for your input, Andy. McKenna?
Yeah, since I'm also back, I'll also make an argument for Alex. Like, what if Nathan is just like a sugar baby and like got massive, like, giant sum of money from his parents, so it looks like he has a lot of money right now, but this is just this weak timeline right here, but suddenly Amor is going to go into those shoes and PCs, and then suddenly he's going to get like 15 30 90s, so he can start mining Bitcoin, and then suddenly he's going to be negative 26 just like Alex. But Alex, his investments are very cheap and very wholesome, so you can tell he's a good man. And all he needs is to put $27 in his checking account, so it's not negative anymore.
Thank you, McKenna. Well, yes, admittedly, this does not provide the full picture, but just going off of what we can see here, yes, so in this example, I am the one that's budgeting better. As you can see, Alex is spending most of what he has on just things that you don't need: V-Bucks, jewelry, shoes, Gibby posters. I mean, one is okay, but like this one suggests that he's buying multiple, so I don't know. And only allocating 20% of what he has in his account for bills. And it's not good because he's already in the negative. You don't want to do that. On the other hand, the example, as you can see, I'm following the 50-30-20 rule, and I'll get into that next. So it's just a general rule to follow: 50% for your needs, 30% for wants, 20% for savings. Personally, I don't think your budgeting needs to be strictly following this rule. Like, for me, I would probably put savings more than wants. Like, I would allocate the least for wants. But that's just me. That's how I would budget. But following a general rule, it just kind of allows you just some order, I guess, in how you budget, how you manage your money. So why should you budget in the first place? Well, for one, all right, give me a second. You don't have as much financial stress. Budgeting, it allows you to always be knowledgeable of what you can afford at a certain time, so you don't end up overspending or just constantly having to wonder, oh, am I going to be able to afford this? Do I have enough money for that, etc. It's good to keep track, so then you're not stressed out. Like I said, you avoid overspending. When you budget, you have a better idea of what you have on hand, what you can set aside for when you do want to splurge or whatever. Because honestly, it is easy to overspend. It's a bad habit. I speak from experience. Using my what do you call it? My allowance, just going every week and buying. Because I play GTA, there's microtransactions in games, so constantly spending my money on that, and then before I know it, all my money in my wallet's gone. So this is why it's a good idea. It's a budget. You want to keep track. And definitely, it's a good idea so you're prepared for things that might happen in the future, say like a medical emergency, and that's especially important because we're in America and the healthcare system is not that great and it's expensive. So it's always nice to be ready for things like that. So something to think about, and this is a really nice example that Alex put here. So that Starbucks coffee that you want every day, think about it. If you don't spend the $5 every day for Starbucks, I guess for the entire year, you'll have an extra $1,875 in your pocket. That's how much you could have saved if you didn't buy Starbucks every single day. And this can like apply to other things like lotto tickets. They're only $1, but it adds up over time. Imagine how much money you would still have if you didn't spend that much on it. You replace Starbucks with boba, Alan. Yeah, I mean, if you can get us some good deals, and I'll get into that. I'll get into that later. Yeah, but it's overpriced in my opinion. You don't always need to buy a double blended venti mocha frappuccino with soy milk, light whipped cream, light cinnamon powder, cinnamon powder. Like I said, oh yeah, I said that already. And extra frappuccino chips. You don't need all that every single day. You could easily just make a mug at home, and that's free. All you have to pay for is the maybe the creamer or the coffee beans or whatever. That's it. And there are a lot of things that you can also think about when saving money. Things that you might be able to live without. Say Spotify Premium, for instance, or Amazon Prime. Or other subscriptions that maybe you seldom use. You could be saving a lot of money every day, every year, going without it. And honestly, some of these services they can still be utilized, not having to pay the subscription, like Spotify, for instance. I mean, the ads are a minor inconvenience, but you're not paying for any of that. You're saving money. Yeah, yeah, Chegg, you don't need a Chegg subscription. But yeah. Oh, yeah, and yeah, one more example. Like if you watch anime, you don't need that Crunchyroll subscription. You can watch anime for free online. There are several sites that you can check out. You didn't hear it from me, but I'm just saying there are things that you can utilize to save money. Yeah, a little, and like I said, a little goes a long way. Okay, so discounts. Like I mentioned, with Alan, for example, maybe you know somebody that works at a boba shop. They can give you a discount. Definitely take advantage of that, things like that when you can. What's another example? Yeah, the clearance rack at clothing stores. Don't be afraid to check those out. I mean, honestly, it should be the first thing that you look at. Or even thrifting. You could get a nice fit for like half the price or even more, like 75% off of what you would typically pay for. There are other ways, a lot of student discounts that you could utilize. And if you're not aware, as Circle K members, you can take advantage of Circle K benefits as a member. There are various things that you could check out. I'll link it to you later. What else? If you're doing a lot of online shopping, there's a plugin known as Wish, so it always lets you know if you're taking advantage of a good deal or not. So definitely something that I would encourage you to check out. And coupons, if you get them in the mail, definitely utilize that. Like I said, a little goes a long way. You'll be saving a lot of money just using coupons and such, discounts. They're good. But you have to be cautious because you could easily fall down that rabbit hole of just taking advantage of discount when you're out shopping, like at the mall, for instance. Just because it's on sale doesn't mean you need it. You can easily overspend, and then it would just mess up your budgeting. Yeah, if you see a sale and buy something you didn't need, you're not saving money, you're still spending. So something to think about. It doesn't hurt to window shop. Just keep that in mind. You can keep note of it later, and when you have enough money in your budget, then you can go buy it. But yeah. All right. So investing. So basically, it's just expending on money, any product or service, with the end goal of probably receiving a profit or gain. So, I think most people, when they think about investing, they only think about the stock market, and it might turn some people off. Maybe they think it's a bit too complicated. But honestly, there are actually more ways of investing. Like, the stock market is not the only thing that you have in investing. Different things that you can consider include real estate later on. They are investments, as it is right now, and you could have arguments about that in a different discussion. But as real estate is right now, they are investments that create residual income. So something you could consider maybe later on. Product flipping, picking a market, buying a product, and then selling it marked up at for a profit. You're probably already familiar with this. Maybe you had a classmate in middle school or high school who walked around with a gym bag full of candy, and they sell it at a markup price. I guess I don't know if that's a good example, but that's one thing that I thought of. So definitely something you could do with different things. Investing in a skill. So this could be like investing your time or money on, say, if you're really interested in photography or guitar. If you wanted, say, to make a profit out of that hobby later on, it's definitely worth considering investing in it. And investing in others. So this doesn't necessarily mean like, it doesn't necessarily mean financially investing in others. Like, this could just mean like investing your time to spend with others who you see potential in. I guess in some cases, definitely shouldn't be the first thing you think of, but investing in others, I guess for some it has a potential for you to get some profit later. So if you're, I guess one good example is me being Kiwanis Family Chair. If I can invest my time with Kiwanians, it's more likely that they'll give our club money. So I guess that's one example. Is Sugar Baby? Yeah, sure, Alan. But yeah. Let me look at the comment. Yeah, you sell the Jordan shoes and Hypebeast for 200% resale value. Yeah, definitely. And let's see. Yeah, practice. Are you doing things to prepare for your future? Like, what are you doing to prepare for your future? If you don't budget yet, it's definitely a good idea to start getting an idea of just writing down, or planning out things that you want. So, like, say you want something, you're interested in buying something for yourself down the road. But you're not sure if you'll have enough money later on. So it's a good idea to start writing down how much money you want to set aside for that. Just budgeting, yeah. Practice makes perfect. And so in summary, you just want to budget for your future. You want to be able to set aside money to fit your needs, personal and all the different expenses. You're just prepared. Save for the future. You want to be ready for any emergency, and honestly, you should start saving now. It's a good idea, since we are adults now. It's a really good idea. And yeah, and just investing in your future to make money. There are a lot of different things that you can take advantage of, like the different examples that I gave, real estate, I guess cryptocurrency. Yeah, I mean, it's easy. It's even easier to get into stocks these days. These days, you could use apps like Robinhood if you want to be an amateur trader. But yeah, different things that you can take advantage of for your future. So just to end it all off, I'll have what Alec called a open stock market. So if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat or raise your hand. I'll try to answer it. Otherwise, if you want to message either Alex or me separately, here's our info at the bottom. But yeah, did anyone have any questions? I'm sorry, I kind of sound like like I'm rambling throughout this whole workshop, but if you want, I'll try to answer your questions. What have I personally invested in or researched? Ooh, that's a good question. One thing that I've been trying to research more into is cryptocurrency. Because initially I was interested in Dogecoin. And now I'm really regretting it, seeing how much it went up because of Elon Musk. But like personally invested in, probably my camera. Photography is another hobby of mine. And I did buy a few things that allowed me to kind of improve on my skill. So I guess you can consider that kind of an investment. Yeah, friends. Oh man, it's not too late. It's not 1 cent yet, so, but it's getting there. Let's see. Oh man. Let's see. I guess other things that I've personally invested in. Like I said earlier, you can invest your time into certain skills. So I mentioned that I'm into genealogy. I've definitely invested a lot of my time doing that kind of research. So that kind of involves just me going out of my way to interview other family members to gain more information. Just doing my own online research on family, just stuff like that. I mean, I don't think that will get me anywhere in terms as financial gain, but the knowledge that I gain out of it is equally worthwhile. So I do consider that a personal investment of mine. What advice do I have for people new to investing? Ooh, okay. So, like Audrey, investing like specifically on say stocks or just in general? What do you mean? Oh, it's like stonks or in general. I guess from what I know about stocks, for example, I don't personally invest in stocks yet. but I'm interested in it. But for people who are interested in it, this is what I've heard: is it's always a good idea to diversify your portfolio. So you don't always want to invest all your money into, say, just strictly one single stock. You're gonna lose money that way. It's a good idea to pick different say invest a portion of it on tech stocks, maybe another in what is it, pharmaceutical companies, or yeah, just different industries that you can invest in. You have a better chance of getting something back that way. Do your research also. The stock market is always changing. It's always if you're you should stay up to date on news, because more often than not, current events can have an effect on things that you invest in. So it's always nice to do your research on it. Don't just don't go on Reddit or YouTube and invest all your money into one stock because they said, oh, this is definitely going to be like the next big thing. Take it with a grain of salt. Be cautious, because it kind of is like gambling. There's no guarantee that you'll become a millionaire overnight with it or gain a profit. You will lose money on it. Yeah, Ren's mentioned that one type of stock to consider is ETF, which is already weighted across several industries like S&P 500. That's a very good point. Ren's, yeah, thank you. Let me read the chat. My thoughts on the state of the U.S. economy given the inflation driven by the Fed. Is it safe to invest despite the rise in inflation in this huge bull run market? Should I invest once the market corrects itself? Ooh. Okay, Andy, I might have to get back to you on that. Economics is not my strong suit. I'm kind of familiar with that, but I will definitely try to get back to you on that. So I will save this. Yes, Audrey, you're the economics major here.
Wait, I can actually talk about this because
Yes.
I study econ. All right, so there's a misconception about like inflation in general, but no matter what, there will always be inflation. The rate of inflation, it just grows differently like per year. It just depends. I think the natural rate right now is supposed to be like 2.5. I think like, yeah, somewhere around there. So I would say like it's still safe. The only time when you would like consider it like be very safe if inflation is like extreme, like extremely inflated. And this would be known as like hyperinflation. And hyperinflation is basically when prices go up double time, and they've been consistent like that for 2 months. As long as the US doesn't experience that, you're basically fine to invest. And like personal like advice that I would give is invest in mutual funds, because mutual funds also like do the same thing with diversifying your portfolio. When you invest in a mutual fund, you basically get access to a lot of different companies. Yeah.
Any other questions? All right, going once, going twice. All right. Well, like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to either me or Alex. Personally, I think Alex might have a bit more insight into this than me, but I will try, like I said, to answer your questions to the best of my ability. So yeah, this is the end of the workshop. It was very brief, and I apologize for any rambling of mine. But I really appreciate everybody coming out to this workshop, and I hope you were able to gain something out of this. But yeah, budgeting, very important. So yeah, thank you for everyone for coming. If you have not yet, I will drop the sign-in sheet